Patreon version. What's up, guys? So today we're going to talk about the roster breakdown, right? Exactly what's going on. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of before video, just kind of give you a little heads up of stuff. First off, they're still looking for a new co-host for me. So, when I get that information, you guys will get that information. Still searching around, and it's hard to find, ex-players that want to be part of a podcast. So give that a little bit of time. Apparently, I'm going to start a new show myself. All right. I'm going to be doing a show. My plan is every weekday, 6 to 7 o'clock. It ain't all going to be about the Colts, though. It's going to be just breaking down the NFL tweets via Twitter. All right. I got a guy called Another Lost Soul on Twitter. You go check him out. Give him a follow if you do Twitter. He sends me the big major tweets basically throughout the day. I'm going to bring them up. I'm going to talk about them. That's what my show is going to be about. All right. I think that's going to be fun. Just talking about general NFL news, whether someone signs a big contract or, someone, gets in trouble with the law, whatever it is, we talk about it. Friday shows will be earmarked, however, to try to talk mostly about the Indianapolis Colts. So that will still be a thing Friday nights. The shows will be every weekday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. It'll be live. It'll be interesting. All right. I got a nice little intro music, got a nice little background. Things are going to go a little bit differently. Hopefully everything is cool. But I just wanted to let you guys know a little bit ahead of time. I am going to start it on Wednesday. Wednesday the 17th is my plan to start it. Patreons will still be on Thursdays. Okay. At 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. But I got to get back into the business. I got to start, pumping out stuff. And I'm tired of being kind of stalemated at where I'm at in my following group. No offense, but it's just a situation where I need to start doing as much as I can to create content. And I love the NFL. I follow the NFL. Might as well talk about the NFL, not just about the Colts, But I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks so much for being here. As soon as this cigarette's over with, I'm going to go ahead and hit start recording. Actually, start the show that's going to be on regular YouTube for the public. So that's giving you like a 5-minute extra buffer. What I'd like you guys to do, if you want, anytime you want to on this show, drop a comment, right? Whenever you see a Bleav in Colts Patreon only drop on YouTube, go to the YouTube video that is for this specifically, right? That's specifically for Bleav, and then drop your comment or drop a suggestion that you want me to talk about, right? That's always awesome. That's Patreon only. You guys get kind of the insider voice on some of the subjects that we could be talking about. Obviously, there's no limit to what I can do. I actually enjoy this. This is so much fun. And you guys every Thursday make it even more fun. And we get to hang out. Man, last Thursday was so fun. Sitting here just hanging out and talking. Had a freaking blast. But this show, like I said, it's about the roster. I'm going to break down. Now, we'll talk about it when the show starts. I'm going to put this out and get it started. But hopefully I get myself a co-host soon. The team over at Bleav is searching still. Wish I could throw suggestions, but that's kind of hard to do, right? All right. And the show starts in 3, 2, 1,
everybody. I'm Cassidy, one of your Indianapolis Colts cheerleaders, and you're watching the Bleav in Colts podcast.
Welcome back to Bleav in Colts. I'm Lawrence Owen, and today we are going to talk about, now that the major part of the free agency is over with, the draft is now over with. We got our UDFAs on par. We kind of got an idea what our team looks like for this upcoming season, and we are going to break down the roster position by position, look at each player on there and see if it's a solid position, a position of strength, or if it's a position that still needs a lot of work, right? And there are all three of those throughout this team. So we're going to get into that in just one moment. But before we do, I want to remind everybody that BetOnline is your number one source for all your basketball info, stats, news, and scores. Get the latest odds and lines and the latest matchup reports for this year's NBA playoffs. BetOnline is your sports intel headquarters this season, as we have you covered for all your insider sports wagering needs, from basketball, MLB, hockey, golf, to UFC and boxing. The fastest and easiest way to get your betting info, including live betting options and your favorite casino and card games, available to play right from your home. Get into the action today. So head over to the website and use your mobile device to join, and be sure to use our promo code BLEAV, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts. So let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen. The Indianapolis Colts roster. We are going to start off with the special teams. Okay, guys? Special teams has been a strength for the Indianapolis Colts for years. And I'm going to say I don't think there's much of a difference here. Obviously, Rigoberto Sanchez is coming back, right? Awesome. He's going to be our punter. He's solid before he had his injury last year. Can't wait to have him here. We have Matt Gay. We just signed to a monster deal. Plus, we have another kicker just to give him competition. Lucas Havrisik. I assume that's how you pronounce his last name. Matt Gay's got the job, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, as much money as we've paid him, he's definitely the guy. Obviously, our long snapper still Luke Rhodes. Kickoff specialist will still be Matt Gay. So, nice to know that Rigoberto don't have to do the kicking off. Punt returns is Isaiah McKenzie and our third-round draft pick, Josh Downs. That'll be interesting to check out during training camp this season. And then our kick returners, obviously Dallas Flowers showed a lot of spark last year, and Isaiah Rodgers Sr. has speed galore. And then Isaiah McKenzie is also there just to round out that group. That way we can kind of figure out who's the best at doing kick returns. I'm going to give the special teams unit a solid A-. There are no, oh my goodness, superstars on this team, but they're all so stinking solid all the way around. Now, obviously, our returners, there's going to be a little bit of question marks about that. But, when it comes to kicking and punting, and our coverage units have always been absolutely solid. A-, I think, is a perfect solid spot for that unit. Now, let's get to the defense. That's right. We're going to start defense. We're going to start from the back end, work our way up to the front. And at nickelback, we have Kenny Moore. He's back, obviously, and Tony Brown backing him up. We also have undrafted free agent Cole Coleman. That's an interesting name. Cole Coleman. That's right. So we got three guys. I don't know if you guys seen the interview from Kenny Moore, but he seemed like he's upbeat, ready to go. Even with, still being under Gus Bradley's scheme, everybody thought that, he didn't like Gus Bradley's scheme, is why he didn't want to be here. I don't think that had anything to do with it, really. But obviously, Kenny's going to be our nickel. Now, let's go look at the cornerbacks of this situation. Isaiah Rodgers is our starting corner at right cornerback. Right behind him is Darius Rush, and then Darrell Baker Jr. And At left cornerback, our rookie, second-round pick, Juju Brents is the starter. Dallas Flowers backing him up. Then our 7th-round pick, Jalen Jones, and then Kevin Tolliver II. Guys, this is a situation where I feel like there's got to be a lot of learning going on really fast. Because first off, I kind of expect the Colts secondary to be more in a man coverage than they are in a, zone coverage, because that's easier for guys to learn. All right. Especially young guys. And we have so many young rookies that's going to be playing at cornerback this year, or just young guys in general, whether they were rookies this year or last year, that, playing man is way easier to learn coming right out of college, because that's what college plays, right? They don't play a lot of, the other version. So this is a situation where I feel like we're leaning really heavily on the young guys, minus obviously Kenny Moore and Isaiah Rodgers Sr. And it's a little bit worrisome. I got this group sitting at a C right now, maybe C minus, right around that general vicinity. Now, obviously, that's because of youth. All right. And they don't have any experience in the NFL yet. And a lot of these guys, like Juju Brents, is kind of a big time, he's either going to be hugely successful or he's going to bust out, right? I've said this at the beginning of the year when he was drafted. I think Juju is more boom or bust than Anthony Richardson, okay? He's either going to be a hugely successful or he's not going to be playing in the NFL in 4 years. So hopefully the prior happens. But that's what the Colts went for, is athleticism, length, all that neat stuff. And I think that's what we're looking at. Going to the safety position, obviously we lost some guys, including my guy Rodney McLeod, who went to the Browns, but we still have Julian Blackman, Nick Cross, Henry Black, and Marcel Dabo at strong safety. At free safety, we got Rodney Thomas II, who had a nice season last year as a rookie. Then Daniel Scott, the 5th-round pick for this year. Trevor Denbo, who is really more of a special teams guy. And then Aaron Maddox, who is an undrafted free agent this year. Again, youth, athleticism, but I still feel like we got a lot of playmakers at the safety position. I think our safety position with Nick Cross, Rodney Thomas, Julian Blackman, that right there is a B right there, in my opinion. I feel like that is a solid B unit, maybe B minus, but still a good young unit that could grow into their own. They're going to be relied upon, I think, heavily this year with the youth and inexperience of the cornerbacks that's going to be in front of them with this Gus Bradley system. I think Gus and the defense is going to be relying heavily on these guys at the safety position for cleanup, basically. Make sure nothing gets over the top while they're playing a lot of man-to-man coverage. Let's get a look at the linebackers. At the will linebacker position, we have Zaire Franklin. That's right. He's coming back with Cameron McGrone and Sagan Alubi. And then at the mic, we have Darius Shaquille Leonard, Grant Stewart, and undrafted free agent Liam Anderson. And then, of course, at Sam, EJ Speed, who just signed that nice deal, JoJo Doman, who's more of a special teams guy, and then undrafted free agent Donovan Mooten. Now, looking at the starters, I'm okay here. Zaire, solid tackler, had a great season last year, playing, where he was playing last year. Shaquille Leonard coming back from injury. I have no worry about this. He's had a lot of the season last year after he had his surgery. Then the off season, he's got more time this year come back and rehabilitate from that injury than what he did last year. I think they kind of tried to rush him back. It was a little too quick, and that's what ended up hurting him long term. This time, I think he's got plenty of time to get back on track, be fully healthy to be able to come in and hit the ground running, so to speak. EJ Speed, that's going to be a huge, huge deal right here. It's going to be a lot about now. Obviously, we play a lot of nickel, so you're not going to see EJ Speed on the field a lot, except maybe when, we're playing base, when you're seeing a lot of just 2 wide receiver sets on the field, which isn't a lot during the NFL seasons. Or he could come in and spell Shaquille or Zaire from time to time at their own positions. Now, would EJ Speed be spelling Shaquille Leonard at the mic? I doubt it. I think Zaire would probably move to the mic, and then EJ would drop to the will. I feel like that's how it would happen if Shaquille needed a breather. But still, I think the starters on this is a good B+ just because of what we saw last year from Zaire, and then obviously the absolute turnover making ability that a healthy Shaquille Leonard brings to this defense. Now let's look at the defensive line. We're going to take a look at the pass rushers first. Those defensive ends. At the left defensive end, we got Kwity Paye. And then returning behind him is Tyquan Lewis, Khalid Kareem, and Rashad Berry. At the right defensive end, we got Samson Ebukam, Dio Odangbo, my bad. And I keep messing that name up even to this day. And then Titus Leo, 6th round pick. That is worrisome. Okay. Look, I like Kwity Paye as much as anybody. Okay. But, and I'm thinking he's going to really come out and perform his job very well. I thought he performed pretty good last year. I think Tyquan Lewis and Kwity Paye are probably pretty equal in their abilities on the field. So when Tyquan comes in to relieve Kwity, I don't think you see much of a drop-off, if any at all, at the production at left defensive end. Now, right defensive end, Samson Ebukam, he's going to be asked to play more snaps than what he was used to playing in San Francisco, okay? And that's going to be interesting. And there's no guy on the right defensive end that is your classic Leo pass rusher for the Gus Bradley scheme. Samson's not that long, skinny, fast guy. Neither's Dio Odangbo, right? Neither of these guys are the, dip the edge, dip your shoulder, use your speed, get around the edge, get to the quarterback kind of guy, which is what a Leo is for. They're more, power, use your athleticism to and unrelenting, menacing abilities to try to get past your left tackle. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I feel like that our ends right now, they are not, oh my goodness, but I don't feel like they're terrible either, okay? I feel like our pass rush ends are adequate. I give them a C+ to a B- in that general vicinity. I'd still love to have that dude, right? Could Dio or Kwity or Tyquan or Samson grow into that? Maybe. They haven't shown it yet. You've seen some flashes from Dio. You saw some flashes from Kwity occasionally. And obviously, Tyquan, when healthy, has shown flashes as well. But it's not been a game in, game out basis. And that's what worrisome for me. So I can't give them a solid B. So I'll give them a B-, C+, somewhere in that vicinity for the pass rush. Now, the interior of the defensive line, that's where the Colts shine. You got at nose tackle Grover Stewart, Tavon Bryan, Eric Johnson, Caleb Sampson, the undrafted free agent. And then at defensive tackle, you got DeForest Buckner. And then you got I still can't pronounce his name. I had it when it was drafted, and I still ain't figured it out. I'm not going to even try to mess with it. AA, we're going to call him AA. All right. Who was an absolute freak, right? When it comes to his RAS score and what he accomplished at the combine, our 4th round pick, Telvin Ajim, I assume, and then Jamal Woods, the undrafted free agent. Look, our starters are solid. We know that. That's where all of the pressure comes from on this defense. Okay. It's where they stop the run. It's where they create havoc. It's where they create the double teams. It's where they create pressure to push the quarterback out of the pocket so the ends and linebackers can get in there and get to the quarterback. They're the reason why the Colts were a top 10 sack unit last year on defense. Okay. And I expect that to continue. I expect that still. People want to say, well, we don't have a really good pass rush, so our defense ain't that good. The middle, I would rather have great push in the middle than great push on the edge, because a great push on the edge, the quarterback can just step up into the pocket and avoid it. You got great pass rush up the middle, and you force that quarterback out of the pocket, or, the ends are able to keep contained and the quarterback has nowhere to go. That's where you get a lot of cleanup sacks. And that's the kind of stuff we had last year. And it allowed us to have a top 10 sack unit last year. So I'm going to give our interior defensive line an A. Not an A+, not an A-, an A. Can't ask for more than this. As an overall defensive line with the rotation that they have, I'm going to give them an A-, B+. Okay. I don't think they're the best in the NFL, but I feel like this could be a top 5 overall defensive line in the league. Now let's move on. Ladies and gentlemen, let's move on. Let's go to the offense. This is where a lot of you actually want to talk about some stuff. And we're going to get to the wide receivers right off the bat, okay? We got our left wide receiver at Alec Pierce, Mike Strawn, Vincent Smith, and Jawan Winfrey. Mike Strawn, that's right. Mike Strawn is number 2 at the left wide receiver on the depth chart for this roster for the Indianapolis Colts. That should give a little bit of interest to a lot of you Strawn fanatics out there. At right wide receiver, obviously, Michael Pittman Jr., Ashton Dulin, Malik Turner, and an undrafted free agent, Cody Case. At the slot is the guy that we signed from Buffalo, Isaiah McKenzie. And then behind him, is our 3rd round pick, Josh Downs. I'll explain that in a moment. Then Ethan Fournier and Xavier Scott. Now, Ethan Fournier is a special teamer. Fanatically good special teamer as well. From what I saw last year in training camp, loved everything I saw from him. Now, getting back to the Josh Downs, Isaiah McKenzie, why is Downs behind McKenzie? Well, McKenzie's a veteran. He knows the NFL. He knows how to get down the field. He knows he's basically Josh Downs with experience. Now, he's a little older. He's a little slower, than what he once was. But that's what Isaiah McKenzie was at Buffalo. So you're going to want that experience early on. Now, could Josh Downs end up replacing McKenzie later on? Abso-freaking-lutely. Later on in the season, as he starts to get a little bit more acquainted with the NFL and dealing with better corners that the NFL has at the NFL level rather than the college level. Michael Pittman Jr., Ashton Dulin behind him. I like that setup. Alec Pierce, Mike Strawn. Love that setup as well. A lot of you want to argue that we do not have that overall number 1 wide receiver, that our number 1 wide receiver would be a number 2 on the majority of other teams. Well, I might agree with you here, except I would rather have 3 or 4 number 2 wide receivers on a team than a number 1 wide receiver and then a bunch of number 3 and 4s, right? Because if you got a whole crap ton of number 2 wide receivers, defense don't know where you're going. Now, last year, defense knew exactly where the heck Matt Ryan was going because he was throwing to freaking Michael Pittman Jr. even when he was triple covered. All right, didn't matter. He was throwing to him. Defense knew where he was going. And this is a situation now where the quarterbacks on our team, at least the 2 that I feel like had the best chance to start, they're not going to be focusing in on one guy, I don't believe. And it's going to make it more difficult for defenses to hone in on one guy. There's going to be a lot of one-on-ones. We'll get into that and more in a moment. Let's talk about the tight end. Oh, wait, look. So at wide receiver, I'm going to give the wide receivers a solid B, okay? Mainly because we do not have a superstar broken out wide receiver. But it's a solid B all the way across. And I'm okay with a B unit at wide receiver when you have better than that in a lot of other places, which we're going to get into right now. The tight end position. Oh, my goodness. I feel like this is the best position we have on the whole team, okay, depth-wise. Jelani Woods is our number 1 tight end. Mo Alley Cox right behind him. Kylan Granson. Will Mallory. Oh, we have another guy too, right? We have another guy too. And I don't want to forget about him, but for some reason, he's not on my list here. I don't know why. Why is he not on my list? He should be. He wasn't cut. Come on, guys. That's because I haven't expanded this all the way. There's a few guys I've left off also. But anyhow, Andrew Ogletree, Pharaoh Brown is there as well. All right. The guy that intrigues, there's 2 people on here that intrigue me a lot at the tight end. We got, obviously, everyone likes Jelani Woods. They expect a lot from him in year 2. I feel like Kylan Granson is our best overall, all-around tight end that we saw last year. I thought he was our best blocker last year. I thought he was our best receiving tight end when it come to catch and run. His catch percentage was the best, and he done a lot with the ball. He just got injured, and that was a problem. I feel like Andrew Ogletree has a chance to really shine this year if he could stay healthy and stay on the field. He got injured during training camp last year. Really hurt him long term, but hopefully he can really hit it out of the park this year. Will Mallory. I want you guys to think about, 5th round pick, Will Mallory. This dude has a chance to push Kylan Granson. There's no other guy on this team that can push Kylan Granson because they're not that style of receiver, right? Jelani Woods is that big dude, just like Mo Alley Cox and Andrew Ogletree, right? Kylan Granson and Will Mallory are your vertical threats on this team. They are your speed guys with great hands, okay? So that's a reason why I feel like this is a situation where those 2 will be competing against each other, hopefully making each other better with a little bit of friendly competition. I'm going to give this one a solid A. I love the youth and the depth and the talent of the tight end position. I know they're not proven yet. I just love the potential that's there, okay? Because there's so many darts with youth and talent that a couple of these guys have really got to hit this year. That's how I feel about it, okay? I may be a little biased, but I love the tight end group. All right, let's look at our tackles. Left tackle, Bernard Ryman. Blake Freeland, our 4th round pick. Carter O'Donnell and undrafted free agent Matthew Vanderslice. Blake Freeland, I don't think is ready for the NFL. He is a long-armed guy who has problems with power, but at left tackle, most of the time at left tackle, you're going to be dealing with a lot of speed edge rushers. So I understand why they've got him. Bernard Ryman is a solid at the end of the year, I really liked how Bernhard Raimann was playing. I don't know if he's going to be the top dog, but at least they went out and got someone to really fight with him. At right tackle, we got Braden Smith, Jordan Murray, and Jake Witt, the 7th round pick. Jake is another one of those guys, young guys who has a lot to learn. He is incredibly raw, but he's got all the tools physically. He's just good. In my opinion, Jake is one of those guys that is going to be, it might take him a couple years to get into it. All right. Left guard, obviously, our star of the unit, Quentin Nelson, who had a little bit of an off season, but he had an off season last year. But he didn't play bad, right? You guys, a lot of you want to say that he played bad. He played bad for him, but not as an average NFL guard. He still played incredibly well overall stat-wise and what he did out there. He just had an off season last year with, what was going on around him on the units. Arlington Hambright and Harris LaChance, undrafted free agent, is backing him up. At center, we got Ryan Kelly, who, again, another guy who had an off season, but again, a lot of stuff going on around him with, the issues we had at right guard last year. And backing him up, Wesley French, and then Dakota Shepley. At right guard, this is where it worries me a little bit. We got Will Fries, Danny Penner, and Emil Ikior, undrafted free agent. Will Fries played better at the end of the last year, but still not good, okay? He was still getting powered. He was still having issues with stunts and delayed blitzes. Danny Pinter looked worse than Will Fries did at that guard position. Okay. I wish we could have went out and got somebody in the draft to fill this specific spot. We didn't. We just grabbed somebody, undrafted free agent. Maybe we can do something there, but we'll see. I know that the undrafted free agent, a lot of people has a lot of high hopes for him. We'll see what happens there. I still feel like this is the weakest spot on the team at the right guard position. And overall offensive line, I'm going to give it a B-. Yes, you heard me right. I'm giving the Colts offensive line a B- grade. I still think Braden Smith, Quentin Nelson are still solid Pro Bowl, all-pro type caliber players. They just Quentin had an off season. I think Ryan Kelly's got a little bit to prove to come back and show that he can get back to his form. And Raimann has to put a whole season together. And right now we need somebody to step up at right guard, whether it's Will Fries or whoever it is, and play a good, solid year of football, especially considering who we got behind this offensive line, which is where we're going to get to now. Let's go to the running back position. Obviously, maybe the best running back in football, guaranteed top 5. Jonathan Taylor. Zach Moss came in while Jonathan was hurt with that ankle injury, played pretty good. Same with Deion Jackson. We have a 5th round pick, Evan Hall. Had a pleasure of speaking with him. Think that he brings a little bit of something to this. Darius Hagens, undrafted free agent, and Jake Funk. This is a damn good running back core. Damn good. They get an A. It's not an A+. It's an A. If it was an A+, we would have 2 really like the 1-2 hit combos that were just stupid good. We have Jonathan Taylor. Zach Moss isn't stupid good. Okay. Deion Jackson isn't stupid good. Both those guys are adequate running backs. I like what they bring to the team, but they're not like what the Browns had for years, right? That's what I'm looking at, that 1-2 hit. Jonathan Taylor's an A+ running back. I'm not going to state that. I'm not going to give up on that. But if there's any group that I feel like can compete with the depth of the tight end group, it is this running back group. Final position, quarterback, our starter, Gardner Minshew. I know you guys going to argue with me, but telling you as of right now, until we see who his backup, Anthony Richardson, the 4th overall pick of the draft, can, where he's at when it comes to reading the field, reading pre-snap, a bunch of other stuff that's going on. Right now, Gardner Minshew is the only guy on this team that has went out and proven that he can win NFL games, okay? And then Sam Ehlinger is the backup of the backup, which I am perfectly fine with having Sam Ehlinger there as backup with backup. I thought he made incredible progress, huge leaps and bounds in his progression last year as opposed to his rookie year. I'm glad they kept him on the team. He's a young guy. I think he'll do well. We just got to see what we're going to get from Anthony Richardson this training camp, okay? If he can't read an NFL defense pre-snap, figure out where the blitzes are coming, what the coverages is, stuff like that, he's not going to start. He just isn't, right? Because even if you want to play you want to play the young man, you want to get him experience, but you don't want to put him in a position where he's going to end up getting hurt or lose you games, right? Right now, Gardner Minshew, as I say, I feel like is the starter. I think Anthony Richardson gets a lot of playing time every game, probably, anywhere between 4 and 8 snaps starting off. If he shows that he's got good pre-snap reads and things of that nature, and is better than what we expect during training camp and preseason, Anthony Richardson could legitimately take over that starting position if he can show he can do it. Right now, I think the quarterback position is a B- or C+. Due to the raw and inexperiencedness of Anthony Richardson right now, our best chance to win games is with Gardner Minshew. And let's face it, Gardner Minshew is not a top 10 quarterback. Love him. Think he's a great quarterback. I think he's starter caliber. I just think he's bottom 12 starting quarterback. I think he's better than some of the other starting quarterbacks in the NFL, though. So that's my breakdown overall of this Colts depth chart. Let me know. Do you agree with what I got? I'm sure you don't agree with everything. Let me know where you disagree in the comment section. Don't forget to hit share, like this, and check out other stuff from Bleav, right? Brought to you by Bet Online. And as usual, I want you to have a good one. Go Colts.
Do you Bleav?